Welcome back to the We Bombastic Few podcast. I'm the host today, the intro man, Diabetes Daniel. With me are the other two people who do this podcast. And one of them is...
Were we supposed to have
that?
Were we supposed to have
either of you? I don't care.
Suspense
Someone
is at
go.
an all-time high. I was waiting for an introduction and figure out who you liked better.
I was in shock, or not shock, speechless, because I thought we were supposed to have a nickname ready since he had one. But
Well,
It's
I always
your
have
boy.
Diabetes Dan on lock.
Brent the Bear.
and
The
it's
bear.
Actually, probably avoid with current world events. Brent the Banana.
apparently I'm very much out of the loop of
Avoid
what that
bears.
was what that was in reference to. And it's Lindsay the Lindsley.
The Lindsley?
Lindsay the Lindsay. I don't know what
Lindsay the
my mouth just
Lagoon.
did during that.
Lindsay the Lagoon.
Sure.
Lagoonsy.
I love. All right, name change. It's official. Welcome with your hosts, Brent, Daniel, and Lagoomsy.
Lagoonsy. That's bad.
All right. The segments.
What? Why are things different today, Daniel?
The things are different today because we are trying out a different sort of format for how we do it. We still kind of do the segment A, B, C thing. Segment B is still the hypothetical. Segment A, we're going to start workshopping just a mini qualgorithm every week. And then so we each come in with one little qualgorithm topic. We do it, and that's segment A. And then segment C, we keep it with the variety. So segment C should be different week to week. And I think
you're
we
still
have a
getting
treat
hypothetical.
for today's segment C. It's one we haven't done in a while. It's a superhero debate, and that'll be
don't say a
coming
treat.
after mini qualgorithm and the hypothetical. Why are you so quiet right now? Hold on a minute. I keep wanting to respond to whatever you're saying, and I can't hear you.
The
Hold on. That
mini
should be good now.
qualgorithm may or may not be our excuse for extra laziness because my inability to be creative and come up with a segment every week.
I mean, mine
That's
as well. But also,
unspoken
like,
description of the mini qualgorithm.
but when Lagoomsy had this idea, I kind of liked it because I was like, I kind of like the flow of qualgorithm episodes. It'd be good. I like our segment structure, but also like the casual flow is nice. So it's kind of like
Point is, let
merging
us
them.
know what you think. If you like the new structure, we're probably going to keep it for at least 2 more episodes or so, and we'll see. Let us know what you think, and if you like the new structure, if you want us to go back and never do it again.
Or
Yeah.
if you just want us to delete all existing episodes. And
If you would
fall
like
off
us
the
to
face of the
delete
earth,
this podcast from the internet,
Please
and
press
proceed
pound.
to never.
And also let us know if it's so good that we should delete every episode before this.
Lots of options, most of them involving deleting our entire archive of episodes.
Right. I'm open to everything.
Or if you want
Except
100
for
episodes a
deleting
week,
System
we could
32.
also do that.
Well, 100 a week.
Episodes are officially 3 seconds long.
We
With
could do
the
one
20-second ad in front.
just mini episodes. They're all one mini qualgorithm. That's the episode. The next episode, segment B. Next episode, segment C. And then, we'd still be pumping out.
And we'll
like,
release
that's like
them at different
30
points in the
33
day,
episodes.
right? Like at 8 a.m. you get your segment A. At like 10 a.m. you
segment
get
A.
your segment A.
Smegma A.
You threw an M in there somewhere.
Oh, your Smegman A, and then at like 10 a.m. you get your bombastic quote, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
On that Smegment grind set.
Bombastic word.
Bombastic word today is meldrop, the plural of which is meldrops. What's a meldrop? A meldrop is a drop of snot in or coming out of the nose.
Intriguing.
Gross.
I'm a big fan
Ah.
of this word.
I am not.
I am.
Oh,
Right.
okay, well, cry me a river, then wipe your meldrop away. So, I've noticed this thing, right? Where, like, every time I go grocery shopping, I go to like Walmart or something, I always just walk through the candy aisle. I just take a look. If something catches my eye, I'll grab it.
Interesting.
And when I have a craving for sour candies, and this happens a lot, I always look for Warheads. And they used to carry, like, everywhere, the giant bags of Warheads, and it was just Warheads. And as of the last, like, couple years, I don't think I've ever seen Warheads packaged by themselves. And, like, do these big bags of Warheads still exist, is what I'm wondering.
What other things do typically come in?
Like, what other things come in, like variety bags?
You said
Nerds,
yeah.
Kit Kats, I don't know.
So do you think
I don't buy the variety bags. I just want the Warheads.
So do you think
candy,
that, like, in the past, your memories of them were only because, like, one of your parents bought it and, like, your family ate all of them but the Warheads and you just like the Warheads? So in your head, like, there's only Warheads left. So in your mind, there's this massive bag of Warheads. But
I specifically remember junior year of high school. This is when I first got my PC, and I had it set up on, like, family TV in the basement. So I didn't have a monitor. And I had this giant bag of Warheads. and it was wrestling season. I was cutting weight, so I wasn't eating a lot of substantial food, but I had this big bag of Warheads that I just kept eating, which for, like, no reason. It's just that I really wanted some, and I destroyed my mouth every night with these things. And I'm pretty sure I got another big bag of Warheads.
I hate sour candy because it's so non-enjoyable so quickly.
Disagree. I enjoy it even past the pain, and it's a problem because I won't stop eating them.
You masochist.
Yeah, a little bit. Only when it comes to sour candies. I also in the last couple years I started keeping a jar, like, those little spice containers that you buy. It'll just have, like, parsley flakes or whatever in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that size container, and you can buy citric acid, which normally it's used for, like, pickling stuff or, like, storing tomatoes or whatever and preserving them. But it tastes exactly like the, like, sour sugar on Sour Patch Kids and stuff. So if I'm really craving something sour, but I don't want to, like, deal with the
you just eat
diabetic
sour?
consequences, yeah, I would just, like, put a little citric acid on a spoon and eat that.
That's the type of thing that's like, I knew he was a psychopath because, like, looking back, I should have figured it out.
You should have figured it out long before I told you that story.
Speaking of figuring things out, I found out something the other day, which I've asked a host of people since, and everyone has told me, like, everyone knew it, and it has been common knowledge. And I refuse to believe that this is common knowledge because I did not know it, and I had never heard anyone ever talk about it until I watched a YouTube video on it. Do you guys know the highway codes for, like, interstate systems?
What, like, evens run east to west, odds?
Oh my god, everyone knows it.
Yeah. Okay,
how does everyone?
I did learn of it not too long ago, but, like, I cannot, like, when I look back, I never remember which one's which, but I know it is organized to some extent.
I just think of, like, a major highway near. I know, like, evens are one, odds are the other. I just think of a major highway near me.
Yeah, I was gonna,
okay. Well, this one runs north to south, so.
So you know it exists, but do you know the actual code? Because you're close, but that's not exactly what the code is.
I mean, also ascends from, like, east to west, doesn't it?
Okay, so the big thing you haven't mentioned, so, like, evens and odds, we'll get to those in a second, but the big thing is that, like, for the major highways, if it ends in a 0, it goes like west east, and if it ends in a 5, it goes north south. And so southwest is closest to 0 and northeast is closest to 9, and so, like, Highway 90, for example, would be like high in the, like, very north and run east-west. And, like, 65 would be in, like, the middle of the country and run north-south. But Like going beyond that, if the highway ends, if it's not a 5 or a 0, if it ends in an odd digit, then it will branch off from the highway. If it ends in an even digit, then it will loop back to the highway you are on.
Neat. I mean, I only knew about like the evens and odds.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
Yeah.
And for like minor highways that are like 3 digits, they like the leading digit or the last 2 digits are like descriptions of what major highway they affect. But yeah. Anyway, I found all that out.
I got onto that one. I just caught onto that one by driving.
Yeah, that one's not incredibly like unique or but the point is like, as far as I was concerned, it was like we made a new highway, assigned it a number. And yeah, that's not the case.
Nope.
And I never knew it. And I'm upset, and I don't know how I'm the only person on Earth that didn't know it.
Is there like
There's a conspiracy.
Is there a
Is
point
my
that,
conclusion.
Is there a point that we will like want an additional highway and like it might mess up the numbering system?
Well, so that's the thing. Like in the video I was watching, it was talking about highways that like exclude or don't work with the system. And basically in Texas, there's a highway that has like it's some highway, but it has like a north or an east west and then like a C part of the highway. So it's like 35, like Interstate 35 North, Interstate 35 East, and Interstate 35 C. And so basically, you get to make up whatever. Like, there are enough exceptions to these rules that like, in the answer of will we run out? No, because we just violate the rules.
I also know of like I've been on highways that like run north, south, east, and west at different points on that highway. Those would be like the smaller, like 3-digit ones, not an interstate, but still.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's I don't know. Something's afoot. I smell something fishy.
Yeah, this is actually a recent development,
not the
like a
fish.
month ago, and we were like, you know, it would be a really funny prank to pull on Brent.
Well, no, they had to have done it my entire life, right?
No, we definitely had a meeting before you were born.
We're like, we
Everyone
have to come
on
up with
Earth
a
had
highway
this
code
meeting.
system that happens to fit how the highways already exist,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we came up with. It was really convenient how it just kind of worked out that way.
I'm on to you guys. I know what's going on.
Kind of similar, but like today in a work meeting, like they kind of did like an icebreaker thing, and like they did like a Mandela effect or whatever, where it's like they show 2 different things, and like the difference is subtle, but like it's enough for you to like know it isn't right or think it isn't right, but some people are convinced the wrong one is correct. Well, they did all the easiest ones, like the Airbnb logo, and like goes just like upside down. It's like, this is so obvious. So like I was so upset, but it's like interesting, like when like you're so convinced it's like not a thing or is a thing, and it's the other way around. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But another interesting point is that I found out it's like a 2-sentence story, but I found out this thing where it said, and also I did not fact check this, so I just wanted to play with the idea whether it's true or not. It says a man named Dimitri something once scanned a credit card agreement, edited it, and returned it with a 0% interest rate and no limit in the new terms. The bank signed without reading it, and a judge held them to it.
So
Go ahead, Brent.
I was just gonna say, like, they could still, so like you borrowed $100,000, you have no interest on it, but if you can't pay it, they can still take action against you, right?
Well, I'm sure they can terminate it, but like in theory, like he could pay it back whenever or something like that. Like I'm sure.
Well,
I'm not saying it's a
still
perfect. Go ahead.
You'll still have like a minimum like monthly payment, depending.
No,
on
it
how
said
much
no
you
limit.
purchase, right? Right.
Well, potentially,
but, like,
yes. Potentially,
when you're
yes.
when you're paying your bill though, it's like here's the minimum amount you have to pay back.
You don't need to worry about like compound interest, but you
Yeah.
still need to make payments or else they will take things from you.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying like
It is pretty neat though.
opportunities are like endless. I'm just saying that's an interesting. Like, I don't think you can get past
Yeah.
that anymore because like you send over a document, and you could easily like proofread it for anything changed from the original document aside from a signature.
But most,
I feel like-
a lot of these are just like so mundane. Like I would believe that this happens again. We should
True.
all try and do this ourselves.
That's what I was thinking, but I was thinking with like more of like a job offer or something. Like they send you like a job offer contract with the salary. You just add a 0 on it and you like send it back and it's like, oh, it was missing your signature. Just see, like if they find it, you're not going to get the job. And so like,
Well, yeah, Brent, if I
risk
weren't having
reward.
so much trouble finding a job already, I'd be more into that idea.
well, no, even you go to McDonald's, right? And like you apply.
$150 an hour.
Yeah, literally like apply for a part-time job, and then you like have
You
all
apply
the
for like
full-time
10 part-time jobs and find the. I guess they can still terminate you, but then you say it was unjust and you were discriminated against because you were too smart.
You could.
And-
What if instead of like just increasing the number of like hourly or salary, you just like change it to like per second or something like that?
Oh, yeah, you change the
The increment of which you get paid or whatever.
I feel like the issue though is like they wouldn't pay attention. They'd enter it in the system as
Well,
still-
I mean, if you work during that time before they catch it, it's like they're going against the agreement that they agreed to. So
Honestly, that's almost a better one. Like, because you get like 30. If you make it per second, you're getting 3,600 times the amount of what is written
yeah,
per hour. So that's a lot better than adding a 0.
And then
And it
it's,
might be
in
more
the
like-
contract. So even if they sign it and they don't catch it, they still have to like pay you by the terms of the contract for
What-
like what you
so,
did.
all
work.
right.
Like you worked the hours already, and then they have to pay you for what you did, even if like they have to fire you after.
yeah.
You didn't do per second. You put like per microsecond, and so it'd be like 3.6 times 10 to the like 9 or something.
Good lord!
Um,
Imagine how
and
quick
like so they
company would go
they catch it
bankrupt.
within like 3 minutes, but you're still a billion.
and they're still like utterly in debt.
I like it. So that's how you can become a billionaire, everyone. It's that easy. You're just not trying.
Yeah, just follow
Anyway.
the steps of Dimitri something, and you too can have money.
You just walk into your local fast food chain, you look the manager in the eye, you give him a firm handshake, and then you're a billionaire.
Yep.
That's how it works.
That's
American
the way
dream,
of the
everyone. All right, and that will take us into the bombastic quote. Words speak louder than actions because actions don't speak. And with that, we're into a hypothetical because what is a podcast without a hypothetical? You missed it in the intro, but we didn't forget it. So, Brad Pitt, he exists. And one thing you may have noticed about Brad Pitt, he doesn't age. He looks exactly the same as he did 20 years ago. And scientists were studying him, and he finally let them in on his secret. And his secret is he has picked an age band gap, which basically means that anytime, so like starting at some age, he ages forward, and then when he reaches, we'll say like age sub 2, he begins to age backwards, and once he reaches age sub 1, he goes back to aging forward. So he's always cycling between two ages, so he never actually ages, basically, because the two ages he picked were like seconds apart from each other. And so scientists were able to extract this ability and put it in a Flintstone vitamin and gave the vitamin to everyone. So now everyone can age like forward and then backwards between two distinct ages, and everyone gets to pick their individual one, and that's how the world works. So What ages are you guys picking, and how's the world going to change?
Well,
Is
first
aging
thing I'm
rate the
picturing-
Or
same
clarifying
speed?
questions. Yeah,
Okay.
same speed.
Okay.
I'm picturing a kid whose parents didn't get the memo about the new Flintstone vitamins. They're just trying to keep their kid healthy, give him a Flintstone vitamin. But now the kid is just stuck at 7 years old.
If he picked 7 and 7, sure. I'd say if you're below, you get to decide when you're 18.
So say you turn 18 and you want your cycling ages to be like 30 and 31. Like, do you have to wait to become that age to do it, or can you pick them now?
No, you can pick it now. Actually, so like once you turn 18, you have to take the vitamin and pick them. Like you don't get to wait till it was like, well, how bad will I be?
So
at
kids don't
30?
get this.
I'm gonna say you can't pick an age before 18.
So
I feel like either you let the kids make a choice or you don't give it to them.
Well, yeah, they don't get the Flintstone
So
vitamin
this
until they're
this
18.
Flintstone vitamin pretty much lets you take this physical agreement of life and edit in the numbers and the age rate, right?
Yeah. So like, for example, one more example. You pick age. So like, I'm currently 22, 23 next week, a week from today, in fact. But like I'm 22. So I let's say I pick 22 and 30. So I would continue to age forward until I reach 30. The second like my 30th birthday hits, I begin to age backwards at the same speed but in reverse. And so then for the next 8 years, I will age in reverse until I reach 22. And in which case, the second I reach 22, I will age forward 8 years, 30, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first most obvious change here is that every sport is going to be a lot more competitive.
Well, what is the
everyone were
optimal
made-
age for a sport?
I mean, it would just depend player to player.
Well, I
I
think competitive in the sense of like there's a lot more people that are trying to play, but like not necessarily like people are going to be better, or I think it's going to stay the same like skill wise.
No, it'll increase because the people who are at the top of their game, will eventually age out. But now because of this, they can just stay at their at their physical prime
Peak.
and they can remain at their peak forever, and then
So I
no
think
one can ever take their
injuries is
spot
the
until
thing
someone
that
becomes
takes
better.
But like you can like tear your ACL or something and then like permanently be less effective at a sport. And so I think suddenly like becoming injured is utterly detrimental because like you had the potential of the rest of your natural life to also you still die after 80 years. You don't become immortal. But so like for example, like Michael Jordan, like he could have picked like his prime years, kept going, done great, but then if like someone breaks his leg and it heals wrong or something, then like he'd permanently be out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But I am curious, like what I guess it would. You said it would depend by person, but also I guess it would depend by sport too. But like, I think in general, what would you say is the optimal age for, like optimal age range? Would you pick something like really small, like a really small gap?
I feel like probably like 25 to 27 is probably like
The peak.
physical prime for like maybe football, and then like in a sport like baseball it might be more like 28 to 30,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly, so like the main disadvantage of picking a small like I don't know, there's not really much of a disadvantage to picking a small like band gap between your two ages. My only thinking of what like for me, I think it would be just more interesting in life if I had a wider range to go through.
So like maybe however many years you make your range, you lose like a portion of that, like off your total lifespan. So like if you made it a 2-year range, you split your lifespan into 2 portions, you lose half your life. If you do a 3-year range, you split your life into 3 portions, you lose a third of your life.
Ooh, okay, I kind of like that. So let's go with 80 years. If you picked a 2-year thing, you're gonna live for a total of 40 years.
Right.
But if you picked 10 years, then you're gonna live 72 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a really good balancing factor. Man, so like if you were, so no one's picking a super small, unless like you wanted to be like I don't know, what is something that you, like an occupation or something that you would pick that you need to be in such a short, like there's such a small gap that like you are the proper age to do so.
I feel like there's a lot of things you could do that for. It's just like
what?
I don't think necessarily need to, but I think like there's no harm in like doing it for sport, doing it for if you're like an actor, doing it for if you're like a model. Like there's no harm in keeping it small.
But I was thinking like actor or model, but like even if you were to like, you could pick a 5-year range that like you look basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if anything would be so drastic that you need to pick like 2 years or lower.
I just don't see much benefit to choosing a big age gap.
Well, at this point, you get to live longer.
So explain. So can you re-explain the rule then? Because I did not really process that.
So basically, you take the age that you picked for like the age. I'm going back to my notation. So age sub 0 is your like when you start aging. So in my example, it was 22. Age sub 1 is going to be where you start reverse aging, which is age 30 in this example. So you subtract age sub 1 minus age sub 2. So 30 minus 22, which is 8. So it is an 8-year gap that I am aging forward and backwards between. And so your total life expectancy, which for the example is 80 years, you divide that by that gap, which was 8. And so that's 10. And so 10 years is being subtracted from your total life expectancy, which was 80. So it is now 70. You thought you were done with math last episode?
No,
that's wrong.
My understanding of it, that still benefits doing the small gap versus doing a bigger gap.
No, so like let's say I picked 28 and 30, right?
Yes.
So 30 minus 28 is 2. 80 divided by 2 is 40. 80 minus 40 is 40. So I am now living for a total of 40 years versus a total of 70 years. Okay.
Not sure I'm really getting it, but I understand what is supposed to. No, also, I get it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, no. But like, if you pick a band gap of 1 year, you are dead. You have already died. Also, if you pick but hear me out. If you pick a band gap of 0, you're dividing by infinity.
You do,
or you're dividing by 0 and you're getting infinity, and so you're living negative infinity years. So you got that to look forward to.
So yeah, you can. That's a risky business.
You tear a hole in reality.
you become a singularity if you pick a 0 band gap.
You create
You're not allowed
11 new black holes on top of each other.
Any other fields? I'm trying. So like everyone's here, engineer, computer scientist. If you're weird, like, does this affect us at all? Do we do anything? Do we get anything? I guess just like companies in general, like ageism is a lot less of a problem. Although you would still probably like suddenly now. So like you don't want to pick a person who picked a 2-year band gap because they're only gonna live 40 years.
Well, I'm definitely picking an age gap where I never have to get a prostate exam. And beyond
Yeah.
that, it's pretty moot to me.
I don't care. You can pick for me. I really don't care. Just as long as we make that hard cut.
As long as I
we're
don't hit
fine.
40, like I'm chill with it.
So you would do so like theoretically max you could do. So you do 18 to 40. So you age to 40, then you reverse age to 18 and then back again.
Well, by the time you get to 22, it's very you really get a lot of diminishing returns at that point. I feel like I could lose, like I maybe do like at the most 15-year gap.
Yeah. I think 15 honestly is still pretty high. I think I do 10.
The
I-
10
I
is
like-
more
I
like
think-
what I was thinking, but at the most I would pick 15.
I'm thinking
I
like
think I do 20, 30 maybe.
I think one thing you would really have to consider is like what your peers are doing, because if you want them to continue being your peers, you have to be very like conscious of it, because it could be really easy to go from like, oh, your peers are all this age when you're 18, and the next thing you know, it's like you're aging backwards and they're like 40 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
I
I can hang out with
I
a
hope my
40-year-old.
friends are not worried about like being 40 and hanging out with a 20-year-old. Like,
Well,
I wouldn't think that.
it's not that I don't think it's going to be like they're unwilling
And
to.
honestly-
I'm more so saying like just naturally, like 20-year-olds have a lot more energy, want to do more physical things, where 40-year-olds tend to want to lean more on the like social or like
1 foot in the grave.
whatever.
No, I love all our elderly. No, I'm kidding.
About loving them.
Well, yeah, we'll strike it all from the podcast. You're all great. Love everyone, no matter the age. But I will say, like, I think age just like in society just it means a lot less now. Like, you see someone who's 20 years old, they could be like technically 70 or something. Like, I think just you have a natural predisposition to judge like how, I guess, wise someone is based on their age, and like that wouldn't really apply anymore,
Yeah.
or at least you can't tell like physically.
How would you, if you would have to put a visual representation of how many years someone lived, how would you do that? And would that be necessary?
Throw it on an epitaph. What?
You just say
What
what
do you
year
say?
you were born, right?
Or I'm
Or
just
I
saying,
mean,
like,
you could just say I'm 70 years old, even though you got
There's-
like, the body of a.
or-
there's
35.
no
Do you get-
longer a physical representation to kind of like estimate
Yeah,
how
yeah,
long
yeah.
someone has
Okay,
lived.
I understand what you're saying.
How could you give another visual representation that kind of like helps people understand a little bit?
Stickers.
You
you
get
wear
a
a
tattoo of
sticker.
your birth year on your forehead.
I like that too. Or it's like, so everyone has to wear glasses now, and you can tell by the frames. It's like that guy's definitely born in the 60s. Look at his glasses frames.
Yeah, wide frame glasses.
Yeah, exactly. Like, those lenses are 3 meters thick. That he was born a long time ago. Any other fields that would be I feel like the actor world we could explore more, maybe
Beyond,
something about movies.
Well,
Like-
yeah, I feel like within acting, there's going to be a severe shortage of old actors.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah. Because who's gonna pick to age to like beyond 40?
I mean, some people like being old, but I don't know, like if they
But
were given
if
the
you were to
choice, if
tell-
they wouldn't like have
Yeah.
like
especially
healthier
when they're
young
younger. Like, if you tell someone right now who is not yet like 40, would you like to age beyond 40? I don't think anyone would answer yes. Presuming that they know that they're not going to die.
Right.
Man, this could be a super ageist episode now that I'm thinking about it.
Sorry, old people. We hate you.
No, you guys are great. But yeah, so anyway, no more old actors, which means we're gonna need a way to watch old actors.
Good lord.
If only there's a way. And of course, like, Netflix got with the times, right? Like, they don't show anything with old actors anymore because they don't want to seem ageist.
I have another thought.
They do
but
the
I
most
don't want to ruin
ageist
your
thing possible to not seem ageist.
So, so probably Blockbuster would come back in order to be able to watch movies with old actors.
Oh,
Lindsay, what was your thought?
that makes
Oh,
sense,
because
there's always
Netflix
old
is the
VHSs
only way to
floating
watch
around.
movies right now.
Pretty sure.
Gosh, I lost it. Well, okay. What happens to the people that were older? Like, let's just say
Died
40
instantly.
plus, and the vitamins
Died
can't-
instantly.
That's very ageist. To everyone who may fear or are old, I apologize on Brent's behalf.
New stipulation
Forgive
to
him,
the
for he does not know what he
hypothetical,
does.
If you ever get over the age of 30, you just die instantly.
Throwback to 360 or 320 million steps to become president. I don't remember how many steps there were to become president, but step 1 was killing all the old people.
Forgot about that.
That is a good episode. You should go back and watch it if you haven't seen it. Season 2, episode something. Let's say you're currently 50. I don't know if you would be allowed, like, could you pick like 20 and 30?
Okay, you're going to like just completely rudely make comments about the older people, and now you're going to say that they don't have the ability to do something?
No, I'm wondering if you are currently 56, do you have the option to pick a top end age that is below what your current age is? So
I am
so
very
like
confused by that sentence.
So like you currently are 56, can you choose 20 to 30, or does your high end have to be 56?
Yeah, you can't just like teleport ages. You gotta start from where
Teleport
you're
ages. Dang. Born in the wrong decade. Should have gotten on those Flintstone vitamins.
What if you just set the lower limit and then you age to it and then you set an upper limit? That way,
that seems like a workaround. That
You think Brad Pitt and all who may have carried on this gene naturally are salty about all of this?
probably.
Like this was
Who
their
are some
family
other
legacy.
examples?
But they still have the gene of incredible good looks, so like they're not super worried about it. But
Brad Pitt, if you want to come on the podcast,
Yep.
and if you know
Will Smith, too.
Will Smith, yeah.
maybe together.
I'm sure they're buds.
Yeah, I'm sure they can.
I don't know if they've ever been in a movie.
Maybe they can carpool on their way to record this podcast with us.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm surprised neither of them were in any of the Expendables movies.
Does feel like everyone has been in an Expendables movie at some point or another.
Or at the very least a Sharknado, you know?
Yeah. Anyone else have any ideas or final thoughts?
I think we pretty well covered everything.
I mean, we
Personally.
did bring back Blockbuster, so we can't complain too much.
Yeah. So in
Kinda.
conclusion, stop being old. No, I'm kidding.
You've said that. You've made a derogatory
You can't
comment, and
unsay
it's,
that,
I'm
and
kidding.
I'm not editing that out.
You can only take
I
it
know.
back so many times.
Can we add an excerpt that the following section is full of jokes and meant to be taken for comedic purposes only?
Along with our
Next,
financial
the following
advice.
section was entirely scripted by Bren. We begged him not to go through with it.
Yeah, we were following scripts written for us by him
With
We
a
had no
gun
say in
pointed
the
to our
matter.
heads.
We were just following orders.
Yeah. Good soldiers follow orders.
Well, speaking of following orders, my order is to bring an ad break. And our sponsor today is Unpressable Buttons. Do you ever find yourself mistyping and hate having to backspace just to go back and make your corrections? Or even afraid that a child will come by while you aren't looking, or have your hands full and the kid deletes all of the important documents that you've ever had. Well, with letting Unpressable Buttons supply you with all of your tech, their products will change your life. No more fear of typos or losing all of your documents. I believe you guys both got a rework of your tech supplied by Unpressable Buttons. What's your testimony to how much it's changed your life?
Well, so I'll say I didn't know how wide of a breadth they did their business with, because I thought they only did keyboards, but no, they did mouse, drawing tablets. They do everything, and so I went ahead and replaced my entire setup here. It really just it puts you at such peace of mind. You don't need to worry about misclicks, or you don't know the amount of time. It's like, oh no, did I press record? You can't press record, so it really just solved a lot of problems.
And they also offer medication to help you with anger problems to prevent other people from pushing your buttons.
If you
that's been revolutionary for me.
If you use code We Bombastic Few at checkout, they will give you a free Xbox controller with unpressable buttons attached, and that way you no longer will have your rage fits when your game does not go your way. Thank you, Unpressable Buttons, for sponsoring this podcast.
Thank you. Means a lot. Really helps us keep going. Keep the lights on at the podcasting studio.
Yep.
So,
the old podcasting studio.
Segment C. Superhero battle fight. What is the name of this segment?
Superhero debate.
Superhero debate.
We've only done it more than any other segment in history.
Whatever. I also suggest it more than any other segment in history. So yeah, it's been a while, so I'm gonna use that as an excuse. So anyways, superhero debate. What we've done is we've gone to randomlist.com. We've gone to the superpower section. We randomly generated 6, and those 6 abilities have formed 3 different superheroes, each containing 2 of the abilities. I'm going to read each superhero's abilities, and then we're going to debate on which superhero has the best powers for everyday life, practically, and which superhero has the best abilities in a fight. So, without further waiting, I was trying to think of a different word for ado, like subvert expectations. That I just froze. I lost everything there. Psychic weapons, which is the ability to create a weapon of psychic energy that can harm mentally but not physically. And that superhero also has the ability of prehensile / animated hair, so you can animate and lengthen your own hair. Superhero 2 has the ability of weather manipulation, so pretty straightforward. You can generate various natural phenomena like rain, tornadoes, lightning, ocean currents, etc., or you can control the intensity of said weather phenomena, along with the ability of automatic writing, which is the ability to write without conscious thought. Third superhero has telesthesia, which is the ability to see a distant and unseen target using extrasensory perception, along with the ability of claircognizance, which is the ability to acquire psychic knowledge by means of intrinsic knowledge. I'm a little confused on that last one.
I don't know what that means.
Who picked this set?
Psychic knowledge by means of the we'll just say they just like naturally know everything about everything.
That almost sounds like a Sherlock Holmes ability. Like you know stuff actually, and then you kind of like infer from there. That's just what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Sure.
So we'll call it the Sherlock Holmes ability.
Okay. Makes me want that person automatically.
Definition of prehensile, if you were wondering, it is capable of grasping, chiefly referring to an animal's limb or tail. So, you got 2 bombastic words today. All right, psychic weapons. I got a question. So, ability to create a weapon of psychic energy. Is it like a literal? So, like, did I create a sword that can harm mentally, or is weapon like figure of speech in here?
So
I mean,
I picture Psylocke from like X-Men or whatever, and it's like she like pretty much makes a blade extend from her hand. So like that's what I'm picturing,
Sure.
and we do not have to go with that, obviously.
Can she or he make projectile weapons?
I do not know if she can make projectile weapons. I do not recall.
I mean,
Well, like, are we willing to say?
I would almost like. It's hard to say. 'Cause there's really no difference if it's a sword or if it's just like a blob of energy. All that really matters is if it touches you, then you get mental damage.
Okay, I will. So let's start with everyday life. Like number 2 guy, weather and automatic writing. Automatic writing seems pretty useful in everyday life.
Explain.
The ability to write without conscious thought.
Yeah, why
and
is
so
that? Why is that
you can
helpful?
presumably fill out reports, or I don't know, write a book, or really just do anything subconsciously. Like you can watch TV while you're doing your homework, or like work report, or just there's writing needs to be done for virtually every occupation. And if you don't have that occupation, this person's in the wrong line of business because they have this ability. So basically, you get to do, if you picked a remote job that it was chiefly writing, boom, you never need to work a day of your life.
Yeah.
So free money with number 2. Don't even need to get a part-time job.
Are we really going to say that that's more useful in everyday life than animated hair?
I mean, so unfortunately that would be the perfect combo of like free money with the ability to like stay on the couch and have your hair grab everything for you.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you basically have extra sets of hands, and it's not just 2 extra sets of hands. It's as many hands as you want. You're just grabbing stuff. Like, you can drive with your hair and like do anything.
I can also drive with my hands.
Yeah, but then you have your hands free for other stuff like eating.
Sipping your morning cup of coffee.
Why am I not eating with my hair? Honestly, I think I would just stop using my hands if I had that ability.
You would rather eat with your hair than with your hands.
Yes. Because the hair could be so much more effective.
At eating?
Yeah.
I'm not tracking. Do tell.
You just can't follow. Weather manipulation though also is like, oh no, it's bad weather on the way to work. Psych, not for you.
I wonder how intense
Not
you
that
could
you
do
had
that.
to go to work. I mean, it says tornadoes, ocean currents,
Because, like,
etc., and you can control intensity. So
Imagine like the roads are icy, and you just like have a lightning bolt just like shock every part that your tires are going to hit on the way to work, so you don't have to worry about wait, JK, this guy doesn't have to go to
I
work.
feel like you could have prevented the ice in the first place.
Well, yeah, but like you
just
weren't
by making it sunny.
Well, yeah, but then you have to be conscious of it. But like, if you're about to leave right now, what would be the quickest way? You're not going to pull the sun closer just to melt the little ice. You're going to like find a different way to do like some intense amount of heat or like energy to melt down the ice, right? And also, I take that back because lightning would probably like do more damage than just melt the ice, would it not?
I don't know what would happen if lightning struck.
Because like lightning,
ice.
Lightning
It's
does
really
like,
hot, so I get it would.
well, like it
honest-
like damages trees, right? So like in theory, it's gonna destroy the
Yeah.
road most probably.
Yeah. I don't know enough. But telesthesia, you get to just see anything anywhere, like
Which gives you
you-
time for his other ability. I like that.
there's like, oh, I'm taking a test. You can see the answers
Okay, so
wherever they may be.
the last superhero actually has like the fact that if we're calling it the Sherlock Holmes ability, telesthesia is the perfect
Exactly.
play on
Yeah.
that, because you can now sense everything, and then you can use what you're sensing to gain knowledge of everything. So anything within your vicinity, you know everything about.
Definitely like the chess player of the three. Like they're 9 steps ahead of weather person.
Yeah, he's 3 games ahead of the other people.
Okay, so I'll take. I'm still taking number 2 in everyday life.
3
though.
for sure.
I think I can roll with 2 for everyday life, but fighting.
Okay.
Fighting is almost certainly the first one.
No, third one for sure.
Weather manipulation. I feel like depending on how accurate he can be with the light, or he or she can be with the lightning, like that could be. Cause I'm picturing like Storm, right? She could literally just pick people to be struck by lightning. Like, what are these people's... Like, I don't think hair's very good defense against lightning.
Picture this. You make your hair a psychic weapon, and then you just whip it out at someone when they don't notice. And all of a sudden, they're too damaged mentally to affect the weather.
Yeah.
The thing is, like...
They needed to get close enough, though.
The thing is, like... I wouldn't say disgusted, but I've never, like... I just think it's weird, like, whenever there's, like, a character in a show that can, like... animate their hair. So
never a fan of it.
Yeah,
very
so like
psychological horror of the 3
yeah,
superheroes.
so like I would not want to be that person. I would not want to live with because like I would have to choose of do I disgust me and everyone around me, or do I let like
it's not who we want to be, it's who's best
So-
in a fight.
A balancing factor of that person, every time she uses it, she just throws up. Like, she cannot handle seeing her own ability.
has to close her eyes.
Yeah.
Oh no, because like
But yeah.
That's kind of true. Like, anytime I've seen like an animated hair character, it's always a woman. It's never there's never a guy with animated hair.
Just because like a guy's hair like lengthening.
Picture, like he's like he doesn't even worry about the hair on his head. He's just shooting like leg hair out at people.
gosh. I feel like there is someone. And I just can't think of like
Let's not think about that.
the guy.
I'm okay with not thinking about that.
The guy cares like can animate his hair. There's gotta be someone.
Well, no, about animated leg hair.
It doesn't say head hair. You can animate all the hair on your body.
Yeah, or Chewbacca all of a sudden.
Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Oh, that's a good... What if Chewbacca had that power? He would be invincible.
I think Chewbacca would be ridiculous with that power. Okay, I like this. I'll sacrifice psychic weapons if it's Chewbacca.
Your voice changes too.
So doesn't even have psychic weapons anymore. I feel like the third person, it's the type of character where like they win the battle just because they were genius, and like it's really hard to say just fight because it's entirely based off just the idea of they were smarter than you and they outplanned you in every way, so you had no chance.
Well, like it's definitely not exciting, but like I think
So
but like it's hard to make an argument because you could just say it's like, well, they foresaw that. It's
Yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
maybe they did.
like the only way you can make an argument for the third one in a fight is like they have to have like immense physical abilities to like live up to their knowledge. Like you can see what attack is going to be thrown at you ahead of time, but if you don't have the ability to like counter or dodge it,
Well, but the idea is
physically,
it's like they
doesn't
in
matter.
my head it's like they planned everything to lead them into a trap of like fall into a cement mixer where everyone knows hair is useless in a cement mixer. Like,
no, like
I would argue
I
hair
planned
is
him to
very
get on.
powerful in a cement mixer. Now you guys got a bunch of concrete hairs flying everywhere.
No, you. It's the same situations. Like I knew that I'd be able to get him onto this medical bed, and that's why I got him to strap down and turned on the laser hair removal device.
yeah. It's like, like you fool, I know this like laser facility like the back of my hand. It's like, yes, but do you know about laser hair removal? Honestly, I feel like that's such a tragic end. I hate any storyline where the person loses their powers. Like, I hate that like trope or storyline or whatever.
You don't like the humbling.
I don't. I don't mind that trope. I just never think it's explained well. I don't think I've ever seen it happen and be like, oh, it makes sense that this is just a thing that's possible.
Give an example, Brent.
Like, well, so I can't actually remember if it officially happened. Well, so like in X-Men, right? There's spoiler alert for X-Men Final Stand, the movie that came out many, many moons ago. There's a
Last
drug
Stand,
that removes
right?
Yeah, it is. There's a drug that removes their like mutant ability, and it's like specifically there are some people that it is used on that they did not wish it to be used on them, and I feel like that is it like it's such a tragic thing for them to lose basically, and especially in that movie, like the people I'm thinking about, like their entire identity is wrapped up in their mutant ability, and so to remove it is just so like crushing, and it's so sad.
Yeah. I thought it was like I was more so picturing like a main character or like a main enemy gets their power taken away.
Yeah,
I
the
could
one
think
my
of
mind
those.
goes to is the end of The Last Airbender.
That's what I was gonna just bring up. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That one too. Or like it happens in the other one, Korra,
the
too.
follow-up series.
Yeah. Also like kind of Spider-Man. Amazing, like the first Amazing Spider-Man.
Does it?
I mean, sort of.
With
I
Lots of
don't want to
spoiler
say it
alerts
because I don't
for
know if you guys
old things.
have seen this series,
but the Andrew Garfield
about it.
movie.
Yeah. So all right. So spoiler alert. Skip 10 seconds. The lizard is quote unquote cured, and like he loses his extra arm and his lizard ability, or his extra arm, his
Okay,
regrown
that's
arm.
a different argument though, because he didn't like fully want to get into the drug though. Like he wanted an arm, but he was not ready for human testing. But like the guy who was funding it was like, no, you're doing it right now, and he's just like, well, like if we're doing it, I'm going to do it to myself, and it just changed him. So like it's not that he necessarily wanted that lifestyle. He just got hooked and
Yeah, like it's a poor example just because like it changed his mind,
Mm-hmm.
but like in his changed mind, he did not wish to be cured.
correct.
So
Yes, sir.
that was
Like,
definitely
it's hard
more
to
than
say.
10 seconds for the spoiler. So apologies to anyone
It's
who
fine.
only skips 10 seconds forward.
most podcasts you have to skip at least 30.
If you can
so.
see, if you have telesthesia, we'll tell you now. You skip at least 45 seconds.
Okay. So I'm gonna say, like, I don't like number 3 just because I don't like any character where the answer is like they just thought ahead 17
Okay,
moves
but you're
to
very
beat
like
them.
sword logic. You enjoy sword logic characters. Is it that you like the power, you like the brute force of it all, versus like I don't know. I like the difference. So I like the bomb logic, and I like the more creative side. So I would say telesthesia guy is definitely for me.
I like part 2 of JoJo's.
Everyone likes part 2 of JoJo's. Let's be honest. here.
Which one's part two?
So wait, how that's Joseph.
Oh
Yeah.
So you're telling me you like part 2 of JoJo's, but you don't like characters who plan ahead and just pull some BS
Well,
to win
but-
fights.
Yeah, but he's also incredibly powerful. Like just because he thought ahead, but like that's not the only reason he won. And that's just the nature of anime. But anyway, between psychic weapons and hair and weather manipulation, honestly, like almost anything weather manipulation has affects themselves, except like excluding lightning. Like they are affected as much by their power as the other person. So I probably would go hair psychic weapon
Do you
to
think
win in a fight.
there's any disadvantage? Like, what if Superhero 2 uses weather manipulation to make Superhero 1's hair all frizzy?
Yeah, and that's his one weakness.
Yeah.
He's incapable of using their hair. If,
And no longer can
the
predict.
humidity's too high.
I no longer can predict which way the hair goes.
Uh huh.
That's funny.
Do you think there's, because you can animate it and lengthen it, is there like, you're kind of using psychic energy for that, so does it weigh you down, or is there a limit to like how long or how heavy? Like what are the limits of what you can do with your hair?
Literally
Typically.
limitless. You can make it like go the circumference of the earth if you want it to.
Ooh, I like that.
You also unlimited lifting strength. You can like pick up a continent, no problem.
Dude, you know what Superhero 1 is good for? It's stopping asteroids
Yep.
from hitting Earth.
Just like and just slingshot them back. Or it's like we have such trouble trying to go to Mars. They just use their hair, pull it a little closer.
You could like make a hair bridge anywhere.
Yep. No one would be willing to use it, but you could do it.
I mean, as long as it's like shampooed and stuff. That's the big thing to work on. Is someone just coming through with like leave-in conditioner and just like climbing the hair ladder.
No. Imagine that, like, so they show up at the scene. It's like, I'm here to save you from this burning building. Here, climb across my hair to get to safety. It's like, I'm good.
All right, you're not going to send
stay.
hair into a burning building to save someone. You're just going to catch your hair on fire.
Well, no, there are parts of the building that aren't on fire, presumably, unless the person is also on fire.
I suppose so.
They use hair conditioning, and then like the flame is their big weakness. Anyway, Daniel, final person. Who you taking?
I think I might go with weather manipulation for fight.
All right.
As much as I like arguing for animated hair. I just feel like just being able to summon a lightning bolt is kind of ridiculous.
That is pretty OP.
But
So,
not if you
yeah,
can
I think that was
predict
my
where
pick
it's going to strike.
For everyday life and fights, I go weather manipulation and automatic writing.
For both, I picked the last one.
I split 2-1,
2-1.
respectively.
Well, then I guess that brings this segment to a close.
Which brings the entire podcast to a close.
No.
No. Thanks for tuning in this week, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow, friend, whatever social media, tweet, retweet, and the retweet if that's a thing. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
Pre-tweet.
Did you say tweet?
I said pre-tweet.
Oh.
Ah.
Sounds like I have a lisp or something and I'm trying to say pre-treat, but no, pre-tweet. Shout out to Mom. Will Smith, come to the podcast. We love all our listeners regardless of anything such as race, religion, or age. Thank you all for listening. Appreciate you. Even the old ones. I'm kidding.
Wait.
Final one.
You lost me there a bit. I think I should look into a way to get animated hair. Also modifying Flintstone vitamins.
The new hypothetical.
Brad Pitt has like just a bottle in his home, and you just need to sneak in and get his bottle of Flintstone vitamins.
The true magic behind Brad Pitt.
Yeah, actually, he didn't naturally have this power. He eats so many Flintstone vitamins in one day that he just obtained it.
Well,
to all the listeners at home, we are not recommending downing a bunch of Flintstone vitamins.
Also not sponsored by Flintstone vitamins.
or Xbox. They shout out Xbox this episode as well.
Fred Flintstone, if you're listening, we could use money.
Hit us up.
Yeah, his up. We could use a lifetime supply of your vitamin gummies.
Or if you just want to come on as a guest, we could have a little Flintstone thing going. How old is the guy who did the voice?
I was
of Fred
just gonna
Flintstone?
say, I was like, I don't know if he would be alive.
Shoot. It is kind of strange because that's such an old cartoon, but like Flintstone vitamins still exist. Why is Fred Flintstone still like a figure that people know?
That's a great question.
I think, depending on if this guy was the original or not, he is dead. Alan Reed. But
Well,
anyway,
rest in peace,
take us home.
Fred Flintstone.
Yep.
That's my final thought.
Well, with that, everyone have a bombastic week. We will see you next time.